Can you close the door?
Apparently somebody wasn't ready.
Well,
Yes,
okay.
yeah.
Okay, so that somebody texted me today and asked me what time we are getting together for the podcast.
Why? So he can make dinner 5 minutes afterwards?
No, because he legitimately acted like he didn't know what time we
Just
log
forgot
in.
to.
You
Forget
do
the
this
live
every
notice.
week for how many years?
Dude, I'm being real. My brain not works so good today.
There's always an excuse.
Right?
Well, okay, I can either say, hey, what time
We
is it
are
again?
live.
Because I'm an idiot, or I can be like, I had no idea. Let me delay y'all.
You something.
Dude, there have been some weeks I completely forgot. I just went home when we used to meet together.
You are something. This is part of my weekly dose of staying sane.
It's true.
I mean,
This sometimes is fun and sometimes I just regret it.
I won't lie.
Yeah.
I won't lie. When there's some stories posted, I'm like, "Ooh, should I fake a headache this week?"
When we're rounding an hour and a half, I regret everything about this.
Which next week we're not doing a show, right?
Unless
what-
you want to do one on the 23rd.
Yeah, I mean, what's 23rd's not a holiday?
Yeah.
yeah, that's nothing special. Where you going? What you doing?
I'm out of town. I'm in Alabama.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Well, and it's also Christmas week and probably be rapping and doing all sorts of shit.
Christmas week.
You're gonna be rapping.
We have
When's that mixtape coming?
we've done New Year's Eve shows before.
Yeah, well, that's New Year's Eve. That's not Christmas week.
Yeah, and me and
It's
Nico
also
and
not
I
Christmas.
Nico and I have found a corner in Dragon Con and done a show from down there. Me and Nico and Alan
And
Smith,
we've
I think.
canceled for less. So I was just wondering.
Well, we'll probably go ahead and do it because it'll
Oh,
just be the
boy.
third. Yep.
All right, well, I'll be out. Bye, y'all. Merry Christmas.
Bye.
You something.
Mhm.
All right. Is everybody ready to do this?
Yes.
Yeah.
thing? She said yes. Okay, here we go. On this episode of the Culture Smash Cast,
Roku and Warner Media bury the hatchet with a new HBO deal.
Hey now, all of my dreams are canceled.
And Disney tells us the future.
I don't remember that song.
that's okay. It's the Culture Smash Cast, episode 549 for December. What is the date? I have it
Today's
wrong.
the
Someone's not
16.
prepared.
I totally didn't hear it because
Or
Zach-
December
The
the 16th.
Thank you. December the 16th, 2020. I'm not even editing that. I'm just going to leave it because that's how it is. I'm Stephen Lackey, editor of CultureSmash.tv. Nico?
Nicholas Galls, contributor to CultureSmash.tv.
Tina?
Tina Heinbach, contributor to CultureSmash.tv.
Nathan?
Nathan Savino, resident homosexual at culturesmash.tv.
Perfect. And Zach?
Zach Martin. I play video games, and I used to go see too much movies, but I guess I play too much video games now.
He's also the backup homosexual when Nathan has to call out.
Ta-da. So next week you get Gay Zach.
Shabam!
Shiz.
Maybe you should put on the sailor hat.
Just
Right?
Oh my gosh.
Is that your gay Zach? Is that your gay Zach?
Well, first off, you need to understand.
We can start with village people and then move on to It's Raining Men.
I pull up that damn song, and now you, God,
I don't know.
I pull up that
Gay
one song,
Zach-
and all of a sudden Zach's gay. It's like,
Gay Zach seems unbearable.
That's true. So you're saying gay Zach is like regular Zach? Just
Oh
mean-
no, I was calling him a bear.
Ooh.
He's constantly grinding.
Then that would mean he is bearable.
Okay,
All right,
Look at
moving on.
that.
What is every...
I'm just like, yeah, they'll get over it here in a minute.
Oh no.
No. What's everybody been up to?
I've been binging random stuff.
Yeah, I think that's the nature of the times that we're in. Nothing else
I'll-
interesting.
I'll be honest, I have not had time to do hardly anything because we have a wedding in a month.
Wow, it is a month away, isn't it?
I
Yup.
had a Secret Santa get together where I got a Danny DeVito with ham. Apparently rum ham. Apparently this is a thing from Always Sunny in Philadelphia that I don't know about. But anyway, I got a pillow cover of Danny DeVito with a ham.
So I didn't know about that either. And that's what made it so funny to me when you opened it. I'm like, why the hell is Danny DeVito holding a ham?
I mean,
Ham.
I think it's hilarious on its own. Like I didn't think it had to be a thing, but apparently it is a thing. So I don't watch Always Sunny.
Same.
Sorry.
I had no clue, but I think it actually made it funnier having not known that it was from that show. Because
no context made it funnier.
It was just ridiculous. Yeah. So we had our Secret Santa drawing get together. That was really fun. We had a good time. And I think from that we decided to do a game night too, and that's coming up. You guys will see the invitation for that. It's going out. So that was really about the only thing I think that I've done that's interesting as well, other than binging stuff too, which I guess we'll get to a little bit later in the show. We got a lot to talk about. Do we talk about Tom Cruise before the box office, or do you want me to just do the box office?
Let's do Tom Cruise before the box office.
Okay. I mean, it's really, I didn't put an article because we've all seen what he said and probably have feelings on that. Zach said he has the internet.
Well, for our listening audience that may not have seen the article, what's basically the rundown?
So basically what happened was Tom Cruise had seen two crew members on the set of Mission Impossible 7, apparently standing too close together, maybe or maybe not wearing proper masks, like not having them fully above their nose and that kind of thing. And he lost his shit and ripped into them and then proceeded to basically rip into the entire crew over COVID-19.
Yeah, essentially he made them an example.
Guidance. Yeah, he made them an example of
how serious he takes it. Yeah.
Yeah. And we've known from the beginning that he's been taking it very seriously, because there for a while, Mission Impossible 7 was the only film moving forward. So they were sort of the gold standard as far as how to do COVID-19 planning and make a big budget, big film.
Like the Batman had to shut down twice?
Well, and see, this is the other part of it too, is there's already tons and tons of like Christian Bale level memes out there from it, but you have to look at it in context. They lost, I think Mission Impossible lost a week in October because a dozen people got COVID.
Yeah.
And they had a lockdown and shut down until everybody was clear.
And honestly, it's different from having a diva moment to just being like, no, you guys are being irresponsible and putting everybody at jeopardy.
Well, and here's the thing. I don't think it was a diva moment at all. And from what I've gathered from what I saw on a news story earlier today, like midday news, Tom Cruise really is focused on trying to get the industry back up and running. He is tired of seeing people having to sacrifice paychecks or potentially lose their homes, lose stability because their industry is shut down. He wants to protect the industry that he loves. He invested, I think they said $7 million of his own money into COVID protection.
That's what a lot of that is basically him talking about how much people at home in Hollywood and whatnot can't work. They are basically what's able to drive the industry forward. And Mission Impossible it has to deal with so many standards because they're filming in multiple countries in Europe right now.
Well, and remember, that was the big thing, is when they went to England to film, it was when the United States was walled off from traveling to England.
Yeah.
You couldn't go. And I don't know if you can yet, but at that point in time when they first went, you couldn't go. So he had to jump through
quarantining for 2 weeks.
Yeah. So he had to jump through a lot of hoops to be even allowed to take the production over there.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't blame him. Like,
yeah,
if I was in his position, because he's not only as we discussed pre-show, he's not only the actor, he's the producer. He's backing this project with passion and his love and all that stuff and his money. So yeah, if I saw somebody jeopardizing multi-million-dollar efforts that I've made, I'm gonna rip into them too.
Oh yeah.
Now, what I hope is this isn't. I mean, I do and I don't hope. Like, I hope this wasn't just a one-time occurrence and he just blew the fuck up. I'm feeling like maybe this was something he's seen more than once, and has kind of been a build up. I don't know if that's true, but everybody can. The problem with this whole COVID thing is no one's perfect. Everybody can mess up sometime. And the problem is, though, when you mess up that one time, it might be the time that you spread it across 12 people on your crew. So I kind of see why he's so on edge about it. Well, but I have issues with protocol. We'll talk about that in a second.
The thing is, too, this virus is still so unpredictable. Like, it affects so many people differently. Some people don't have any symptoms. Some people do. So you don't know who's going to pop up with it and how it's going to affect them, let alone, yes, Tom Cruise is a very passionate person. Some love him for it. Some hate him for it. He has his beliefs.
I have my other issues with him, but that's outside of this.
Yeah, but for him to go off, and if you read the transcript of what he was saying, you can tell he really feels for this industry and he just wants it to succeed and thrive and go forward.
And you can see it too because video is out there. Someone was shooting video of it.
I didn't see any video. I just heard
video. I saw video.
The video I saw was just behind the scenes footage of them filming.
Yeah, no, there's another. It looks like a cell phone video.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Was that Zach? You said you had feelings, but you haven't really said much.
Oh yeah, I think it's completely justified. General consensus online is that it's completely justified. This is not comparable to a Christian Bale moment.
Like I said, it's different than having
because that was a moment where he was trying to remain in character and then just went off on one guy for walking around. Whereas this is you are putting this entire film's production at risk because of your due negligence.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with me.
Now,
and it's kind of you got a point.
Yeah.
So not only that, it's not just the production, it's people. The people he's around are in jeopardy. So
and he's I have to talk to studios and insurance agencies every night over the
shit. Because that's one thing.
Because I believe him because of the stunt work he does.
They could literally lose their insurance over this. And that leads into
considering the amount of stunt work they do on these movies, that says a lot.
Yeah. But that leads into the one, if I was going to play devil's advocate, the best possible thing I can come up with, because I agree with them too, is there is a reason on a film set there are protocols for everything, though. And now there's a new protocol, and that is on a movie set, production set, pretty much of any size right now, at least to my knowledge. You have to have a COVID officer. And that's somebody you pay specifically for making sure that COVID guidance is being adhered to. Not only COVID, CDC level guidance, whatever that production is also applied to that. Because some productions are even more hardcore than the CDC guidance. It's different from one to the next.
Would you say that these are definitely not ghost protocols?
Oh my god!
That's pretty good. So anyway, pretending I didn't hear that.
Normally I just leave the call after that.
Right? Dad jokes. But what I believe in reality that he should have done, honestly, is gone and lost his shit on their COVID officers rather than on the crew directly, because the only issue he's going to have, and I've seen this in the smaller scale shit that we do, if you have somebody blow up at the entire crew and then that crew has to, sort of get behind you like a family, it's tough. You get your asshole ripped out and then you got to get back together like you're in love with each other to do the right work. It's difficult.
So do you feel like the COVID officers are going to feel some tremendous fallout from this?
I wouldn't be surprised if
y'all are stupid.
Y'all are something else. But I can tell you.
I mean, they'll have to fill out a minority report. So.
Oh, you went out.
That's out of the franchise.
You went out of franchise. But yeah, I would wager that their COVID officer is probably about to get fired if he or she hasn't already. But yeah, that's literally the only argument that I can come up with. I don't blame him for losing his shit. But I can understand the cohesiveness of the crew. He probably should have ripped the asshole out of the COVID officer and then let that COVID officer go out and handle that business. So
I mean,
I understand if
whole,
your crew is acting like a rogue nation, but you still need to handle it professionally.
you had to really think
you have
about
to
that.
you have to think about just how impossible the mission of making this movie is in these situations.
Okay, now it's funny.
Okay, y'all are. God, I'm done. I'm done.
I love when I start chaos.
It's like we're trying to be.
Can we get on to the box office?
Oh man, that's awesome. All right, box office over this past weekend. Number 10 was Come Play. That one made $176,000. It's made $9.2 million so far. Number 9 is Wonder Woman, the 2020 reissue. That one made $189,000. That's the opening weekend. Number 8 is All My Life. It made 209, almost 210,000. I don't know anything about this, but it made almost $691,000 in total so far.
This is one of those sappy ass movies, and
well, it sounds like a
couple's wedding
movie.
plans are thrown off course when the groom is diagnosed with liver cancer.
This sounds like a Lifetime movie.
Yep.
But okay.
Yep, it does.
Number 7 is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. It made 239,000. It's made 614,000 so far. Number 6 is The Polar Express. That one made 245,000. It's made 400,000 thus far. Number 5 is The War with Grandpa. God, I'm tired of saying the name of this movie. 264, almost 265,000. It made $17.9 million. Number 4 is Freaky. It made $314,000. It's made $8.2 million so far. Number 3 is Elf. What a terrible movie. I'm sorry. Elf is not good. I saw it for the first time last Christmas.
The only people that like Elf are people who just jizz all over Christmas movies and kids who grew up with this movie.
It's got to be a nostalgia thing.
It is not an awful movie. Are you freaking kidding me? I
saw it for the first time last Christmas, and I was like, man, this is terrible.
Dude,
but it made almost 1.5 million so far.
It's a very enjoyable
never
movie.
really been
you know
a
what?
fan
It's a Will Ferrell making a man-child movie again.
And Zoe Deschanel is amazing.
I love Zoe Deschanel, but
it's a great movie.
Number 2 is Half Brothers. That one made 495,000. It's made 1.3, almost 1.4 million so far. Don't know that either. And number 1 is The Croods, A New Age. It made 3 million. It's made 24.3 so far. That is the box office thus far.
Let's go Croods.
Mm-hmm. So we got some big stories to get to. So let's just jump right into it, shall we?
All right. Well, Hilary Duff announced on Instagram that the Lizzie McGuire revival is no longer happening. It was announced a little over a year and a half that it would be in production and to show on Disney Plus. But after a couple of months of cast announcement, table reads, and photos, things went downhill fast. Back in January, the original series creator Terry Minsky left over creative differences. In March, Duff pleaded to Disney Plus to move the show to Hulu so it could do more of a Love Victor style, more adult type writing, which Disney did not want to do. Now, Duff confirmed that we won't be seeing any version of Lizzie anytime soon. It's kind of really sad, especially since that's the reason I was signing up for Disney Plus, was because of the Lizzie McGuire reboot.
At least you could still watch the Mulan movie.
Well, that was great, but
well, do they have the old like Lizzie McGuire stuff on Disney Plus?
They do.
That's why they don't want to do something more adult.
They don't want to taint the
it's not
they don't want to taint the they don't want to taint the brand.
Yep.
It's not even tainting the brand. So Hilary Duff wanted to show Lizzie McGuire as growing up. Basically, not really like adult humor or stuff like that, but show her how she is as an adult, kind of like what they did with That's So Raven.
Let me ask you this: would it be more PG-13?
It would definitely be more PG.
Is she going to be naked?
No. What it would be like if you
could you put this on Disney Plus?
The way that she wants to do it, I believe you could.
If the answer was no or
The
more
only
adult, then it would be an absolute no, and she should know that.
no,
If you're going more adult,
she wanted the character Lizzie McGuire to grow, not be stuck as the 13-year-old Lizzie McGuire.
I think.
So was she gonna play Lizzie McGuire as an adult? Is that what's gonna happen?
Yeah, she was Lizzie McGuire.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I was gonna say because she would have to. I didn't know if they were gonna recast her as a.
No, it was gonna be the exact same cast, except maybe her with maybe kids or something like that, like they did with That's So Raven. But she wanted it told in a realistic light of how she would be as Lizzie McGuire in her 30s or 40s.
So drunk.
No.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
They could have done it on Hulu Plus, but no, they weren't willing to budge.
Yeah.
I mean, if Disney's not fully for it, you're not going to convince them.
I don't really hear anything in there that couldn't be on Disney Plus if it's just like her being a grown-up with kids. I mean, that sounds like a Lifetime movie. It also sounds terrible.
I think part of the thing may have also been is that Disney hasn't had a lot of success with this. I don't know how well the That's So Raven reboot, relaunch, start has been going, but I mean, they tried a similar thing with Boy Meets World when they brought it back for Girl Meets World, which is...
Girl Meets World was actually pretty good.
I liked it, but they canned it after 2 seasons.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think any of these are doing that well. Like, they have like a big buzz right when they start, like the Saved by the Bell thing. Everybody talked about it before it started, then it started.
I don't expect that to last either. No. It's these nostalgia grabs don't usually last, and I think Disney's just like, you know what, we could do other stuff. We have so many Marvel and Star Wars shows down the pipe. We don't need to care about Lizzie McGuire, and we'll get to that later.
And I think part of the issue is too, and maybe it's people coming to a certain age and realizing this. Like, I realized it a long time ago that a lot of the stuff that we grew up with, including Lizzie McGuire, most likely, I've never seen it, so I can't say for sure, but a lot of the stuff that we grew up with was good for the age we were. But as you look at it as an adult, it's shit. It's just terrible stuff. Most of it is. It just is. So when you
but that episode with Aaron Carter was bomb, though.
Oh my God.
I haven't seen any of the new Saved by the Bell, but it looks drastically different from what Saved by the Bell was. So
that's probably smart.
Yeah.
Because
when they redid the 90210 and made it more of like a mockumentary of them remaking 90210, that was funny.
Yeah, people liked it.
Yeah,
hardcore people liked it, but not enough to keep it around. And that's
when they brought Will and Grace back, it did really well for the next 2 seasons it aired or whatever it came out.
Yeah.
Stuff like that seemed really good. I like what they're doing too with some like reunions, like the Will Smith Fresh Prince of
Bel-Air. Those are different though. HBO. Those are different. That's great. Actually those make more sense to me because it's a special.
Mm-hmm. It's not a continuing show.
It's not a series.
The Lizzie McGuire reunion special, because other like the like previous sets of shows did this. Like Brady Bunch would come back and have
Brady Bunch may have been the best show ever at doing this, honestly.
Because
they would do a movie every few years or something.
Exactly, a TV movie, and this is before the like big budget actual remakes, but the whole cast would get together to do movies. And I mean, you even had like Gilligan's Island finished in this fashion.
What's the one with the girl who's she's like an investigator, something like a blonde. She's a blonde girl.
Veronica Mars.
Yeah, they tried to bring that one back, and it just didn't stick either. And I heard it was good. I just feel like something about some of this nostalgia stuff. They tried to bring MacGyver back, and that one stuck around for a few seasons and then flopped.
Fuller House has fallen off.
Mm-hmm.
But Fuller House came back and did like 4
but
seasons.
Did anybody say it was good?
The people that I watched Fuller House with, none of us watch it anymore.
Well, and that's the thing. I think sometimes, and the thing about Fuller House is it might have been good, but things are created.
It would have been better if it wasn't a exact rehash of Full House.
Well, that's it. But when you're dealing with nostalgia, you got to think about these shows. They're created for the era in which they were created. And a lot of them culturally Not that they're offensive, because they're not, but they just don't work in this era of time, and they don't stick around. That's the funny thing, and that's why this kind of doesn't surprise me, because Disney is probably more hardcore about tracking this stuff than even like Netflix. They know this. They know how to deal with the nostalgia bomb. They do.
Hilary Duff wanted the character Lizzie to be more authentic and what Lizzie McGuire would be at the time. They would still do like that quirky where she would be in her head, and there would be like the animated version of her that pops up, like her inner thought that's speaking to her, blah, blah. But it would just expand how life is growing up from going that high school year. Now you're an actual adult working real life, which they could have done, and they could have kept with the same thing. The thing is, they announced this before all this Disney stuff was announced this last week.
I remember. Yeah.
This was announced before Disney Plus was even coming. Like, we even had Disney Plus to subscribe to. This was one of the things the marketing, the tools they were using to draw people to subscribe. Like, this was one of the big projects on their thing, besides the High School Musical series and Mandalorian and all that. This was one of the big things they were pulling people in to subscribe for.
There's a couple things I think you can take from this. One, either Disney took the feedback, what they were seeing from the marketing pushes on that, and seeing that it's not actually something that's generating enough buzz that they would want, compared to, say, Mandalorian was generating a lot of buzz. So it's one. Or two, I don't know about working with Hilary Duff or any of the other people involved with the project. It may not be her, but maybe somebody or multiple somebodies in that project are just enough of a pain in the ass that Disney just didn't care to actually go through it.
Yeah. Now, that's the sad thing. That is one thing that was kind of started with TV, and it's gotten way worse with streaming, is marketing has more of an impact on what's made and what's not than anything. You know, with the worst, the most painful example of that for me was Firefly. That show didn't die because people didn't like it. It died because the marketing company that Fox was working with didn't know how to sell it.
Well, Fox also didn't know how to program.
I was about to say, it also died because Fox wanted it on the
topic. Yeah, like Fox didn't air it in order. Like there were a lot of reasons. It wasn't the production behind it, Firefly. It was Fox and marketing. So,
but if you look at the marketing issue that they had, it was 50-50 male female. It was across all age groups, so they couldn't pigeonhole advertising and marketing pushes to one demographic. Kind of had to just cover everything, and they didn't know how to deal with that. So marketing could be playing a part in the reason this didn't happen.
Yeah, honestly. But then again, we got 15 great years of all the brown coats just crying anytime you said the words Firefly and just complaining, we need a second movie. So funny. It's so funny.
The fandom for that show, that's a whole different thing. They were pretty destructive.
It's so funny every time.
All right. Well,
like, you
sorry,
got
Nathan.
a movie.
No Hilary Duff for you. Look at him.
Must be Duff.
Must be Duff. And unlike, not that she, has anything else big to do. It seems like she should have just sort of done whatever they wanted her to do at this point.
No, she's been on some popular CW stuff, but yeah. Wow. I mean, she's been doing movies here and there, but she's
she wants to do something credible.
Huh?
I said, no wonder she wants to do something credible if she's spending all of her time on CW.
She's been on a very popular series on CW. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, which is called.
Yes.
Man, it must have been memorable.
I'm eating a bar. Stop! I keep muting my mic because I have to eat my bar. Shut the fuck up.
All right, let's move on.
Okay.
Yeah, let's move on. Who's next?
So, Roku and Warner Media have reached an agreement for the distribution of HBO Max on the Roku platform. This is nearly 7 months after the streaming service launched. HBO Max will be live on Roku, effective tomorrow, Thursday, December 17th. Its absence on Roku was a big hole, as Roku counted 46 million active user accounts as of the end of September. Warner Media was looking to nail down an HBO Max pact with Roku as the service's last major distribution partner, ahead of the day and date premiere of Wonder Woman 1984 and its following release of its 2021 film lineup. Under the deal, Roku users who already have subscribed to HBO through Roku will have an existing HBO app on their devices automatically updated to become HBO Max, and they will be able to log in using their HBO credentials. Going forward, Roku will no longer be able to sell HBO as a channel subscription, which is a concession that both Amazon and Apple had to make in their agreements with HBO Max. News of the deal between Warner Media and Roku comes a day after Comcast announced the rollout of the streaming app on Xfinity X1 and Xfinity Flex, while HBO Max launched on PlayStation 5 earlier today. Amazon clinched a deal in November to carry HBO Max on Fire TV and Fire tablet devices after holding out for several months and ultimately agreeing that it will stop selling HBO and Amazon Prime Video channels. Now, shares of Roku were up over 3% in after-hours trading after the HBO Max deal was announced.
So I wonder how their money works, because I know if you're an independent content creator, you can get your stuff on Roku if you've got the API and the development tools to do it. So I wonder, I don't know. I mean, are they paying? You think they're paying a percentage of the monthly cost? I don't know how that money works. I knew it had to be something because we didn't have it on Roku. Zach was really pissed he didn't have it on the Fire Stick.
Yeah,
I know that's how.
I mean, people on Roku have been waiting 6 months for this, which is stupid.
Yeah, I just been lucky that it came out immediately on the Xbox.
For me, it was I just broke down. Was like, screw it, I'm getting an Apple TV. Because the problem was I signed up for it, and only on the day of to find out, oh, actually, you're not going to get it. It's like, fuck all this.
Yeah. It's funny because I thought for so long, Roku has always been a cool way to get to streaming stuff, but I always felt it was kind of like more tech, more niche. But now the Roku is built into so many TVs. I think sometimes people are actually using it and don't even know that they're using the Roku.
They have in a lot of the hotels, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm shocked that this was even like taking so long. That's cool though. I'm glad they're doing the thing where they're just upgrading the I guess the HBO Now app, because that was a headache I had with the iPad. I had all the apps like I had Now, and then I ended up with HBO Max, and they were separate. So I had to go through and delete the other two to figure out what was going on with it.
Hey, Steven, stupid question.
Yeah.
You on the good Wi-Fi?
I don't know. Why am I making the robots?
Occasionally.
Mr. Roboto?
A little.
I haven't heard you robot, but
you kind of did.
It hasn't been bad, but it's.
Yeah, it's been fine for me.
And now he's frozen.
Well, because he's switching to 5G connection. All right.
You guys there?
So
yeah, we're here.
See, that froze there we go.
You're free. Okay. So do we have more on that one?
Yeah. Does anybody have anything else moving forward?
Nope.
No,
Other than you're just happy to be. Yep. I'm happy it's done. Because if you haven't to 4K, like the Premiere one is a pretty nice streaming device. It actually streams Peacock better than the Apple TV. Side note.
So it's funny because now your video is like frozen, but your sound is okay.
Yeah,
I got video is fine for me.
Your video is fine with me too.
Yeah.
All right. So Zach, you're next.
Yep.
All right. Well, in other news about Disney Plus is raising their prices.
Those sons of bitches.
Next spring, the service will go up $1 to $7.99. May not sound like a lot, but it's still $1. Especially when you consider that Disney Plus really hasn't had a lot of stuff come out. I mean, sure, they're planning stuff, but not really a lot, has actually come out on their platform outside of, for me, that's interested me was Mandalorian and Imagineers, and
that's about it.
That's about it for a whole year.
But they've had some cute movies and stuff pop in and out. And stuff.
Some
Originals.
cute movies like Please Pay $30 Extra.
No, not Mulan. I'm talking about regular movies that come in called Godmother. They had one with Anna Kendrick called Noelle.
Yeah,
They had
Oh
some
Lord.
other
That's not for me.
movies and content. The Lady and the Tramp came out.
Oh, that was really bad.
You have Soul coming out.
Uh,
20.
oh, fine. Oh, there's something else that's coming out next week. That's the
Yeah,
third thing on my
Christmas.
list. So for a whole year, we've had no wait, it's been over a year. So for
So
a whole
for
year,
the
we've
whole
had two
year,
things.
content that you don't want to watch hasn't come out, but there's been content coming
Content
out.
that me and KJ have been like, man,
And me.
there is nothing on Disney Plus.
But there's
And-
plenty of people who have found things that they like to watch. So
Yeah, but
Well,
I'm
okay,
saying
and then that's
this household,
you're
Steven's
right.
household.
You're right. You're right about that. They have put things out, but comparatively, when you start comparing a quantity of content, if that's what we're doing, you compare what they've put out to what even Hulu has put
No,
out. It's
dude,
no
HBO
comparison.
Max came out 6 months ago, and they put out quadruple the amount of content that Disney Plus has
Okay,
a year.
let's pause there because I do want to address that point. HBO Max came out 6 months ago and put out how much original content?
Yes, that's my point. They have
What original?
Action
not
Park.
not on HBO. Not
Okay,
not,
okay.
Action
Now,
Park. They just came
now,
out with
wait,
that
wait.
four-part
To be,
documentary about that cult.
they did. But I think what they actually did, and we know this because this is what they're fucking doing moving forward, is those things, Action Park in particular, I think was supposed to be an HBO network movie.
Yeah.
They just pulled a bunch of shit they had planned for the next 6 months to go on HBO and stuffed it over on HBO Max as original content.
You might be right, but here's the thing: exclusivity. It
Yeah,
is
no,
an HBO
you're right.
Max
You're right.
exclusive. Better get it on HBO Max. You can't get it on HBO. You know what Disney has done? Mandalorian, Imagineers,
And it's because the two
Hamilton.
companies have different approaches. HBO has a ton of new content for TV already in the works that they were able to pull. Disney, for the first 6 months of their life, was trading on nostalgia.
Mhm.
They're like, oh, look, we have these old cartoons, and oh, here's something new, and here's this. And
It just seems very short-sighted that they didn't have any sort of plan.
Yeah.
So exclusive
but not
TV
even HBO as we talked
exclusive
about
TV
so
shows
much
that
last
Disney Plus launched: The Mandalorian, High School Musical, Encore, Marvel Hero Project, The World According to Jeff Goldblum, The Imagineering Story.
Is any of
Porky
those
Ask a
good?
Question, Pixar in Real Life. But you're asking about content. I have a list of all TV and all movies that came out that were not part of like the Disney vault that they brought up. The Taylor Swift folklore documentary,
not to mention
Black Beauty. There's
not to
tons
mention
of content.
that-
It's just stuff you don't watch.
While that list is also there,
That's my point.
While that list is also there, the next story that I'm going to go into goes over a slew of Disney Plus original content, and they're not cannibalizing from another aspect of the company as HBO Max has done, but have actually dedicated the funds, which I could see them needing some extra money to produce that. So I understand going up $1.
Yeah, Disney is course correcting. The problem, okay, so to meet Nathan and Zach halfway in the middle is the thing that I think HBO did better, and that I've said it from the beginning, they did better, is they know how to cross demographics.
Mm-hmm.
Disney has pretty much 100% exclusively done kid stuff or young adult stuff or nostalgia stuff. That has been the majority, like, of what their focus has been.
And
even the Imagineers documentary is that. And
don't get me
liked
wrong as well. HBO has a serious issue. I'm talking HBO Max has a serious issue in terms of their advertising, like actually letting people know about their other stuff.
That's true.
Disney's great about that. They let you know what's coming out and everything. HBO Max is like, I've never heard of this, and apparently it came out 2 months ago.
I can't defend HBO too much because they can eat shit right now. I'm mad at them anyway, and we know why. Listen to last week's show.
Disney Plus, before they made all this huge announcement, had 54 new item content. You just happen to like 2 of it or invest in 2 things, Zach.
Then why do I need a subscription to this? I better just drop it.
To what's worth it for me is I have access to content that I like because I worked at Disney. I grew up on Disney. I'm all Disney. I'm a Disney fanatic.
Yeah, but
So
see
going up
that
a dollar for me and plenty of other people is not that bad.
So Nathan, you actually make the point in a way. You had to define the reasons all that content matters to you. And that gets
it's no different than you defining why the content matters to you for HBO or any other fucking platform.
because you don't have to be this person. You don't have to be a Star Wars person.
You're not gonna have somebody be like, "Oh, I grew up on HBO. I was, it caters to lots of different demographics."
That's the point. To Disney fans. That's it. Yeah. And that's why I think they have to be careful about this pricing structure, because Nico and I had a brief conversation on Facebook about this. Because Nico, I think you kind of defended it a little bit at first, but the thing to me was you're not even a year old, really, and you're trying to already go up. $1 is not much, but you're setting a trend for me that says I'm going to go up $1 to $2 to $3 every year of owning you. And if you're catering exclusively to Disney fans and that's it, this might not be the place for me.
You don't know.
My whole point, though. Guys.
Yeah.
My point, as Stephen brought it up, it is very much like I did kind of defend it because it's not too much of an increase. Because Disney is currently pre-increase $6.99 a month.
Yeah.
Going up to $7.99 a month. What's HBO Max? $14.99 a month.
It was $11 or $12.99 a month.
Currently now it's $14.99 a month.
Which is
finally starting to get 4K stuff, but
so
and mark my words, that 4K is going to cause our cost to go up on HBO Max too.
Yeah. So overall, like relatively speaking, because those are the two comparisons we're making right now. Are Disney Plus and HBO Max, one costing half as much as the other.
HBO Max has been out for less than a year.
And I'm fine with $1 going up because Disney definitely entered the market undervalued. I think it's a very arguable point.
Going up as long as the quality remains with these new shows is good. If these new shows come out and they are bad,
okay,
man.
But we have to see that. So we'll have to see if it's worth it, and also again, if it's a trend, if it's a year over year thing, we're gonna go up every year. That's a problem.
And that is my concern. It's not the dollar amount. It's because the dollar amount is okay. It's the trend that it sets. And also we have to look at this two different ways. We have to look at this pre last week's announcement, which we're going to get to, versus post. Mm-hmm. Okay. So if you're going to ask me for $1 more a year for the shit that you just announced, okay. I might be willing, but pre that I was like, eat shit because everything you're putting out except for The Mandalorian is for Disney fans, and I'm not that.
And this is why that announcement was made after the next
right. So this does change things to some degree,
which I will just go into right now.
Segue.
So last week, before they announced the price increase, Disney held its shareholders meeting, announcing a huge slate of upcoming projects and progress reports of ongoing current projects. Thankfully, the Nerdist put together a pretty comprehensive list that we're going to go through a good bit to get the greatest hits of the stuff that we mostly care about. Let's start with Marvel. Existing products, we know WandaVision's coming out January 15th, so very soon. It is less than a month now. Mm-hmm. Falcon and Winter Soldier's coming out in March. Loki is in May, and we got trailers for those two. The What If animated series we got trailers for is coming out in summer. We've gotten confirmation officially of Haley Steinfeld playing Kate Bishop and Hawkeye. Don't know when that one's going to be, but next down the pipe, we know She-Hulk is happening. Those were already existing shows, and they were announced in some fashion. New stuff coming to Disney Plus from Marvel. We're going to get a Secret Invasion series starring Samuel L. Jackson and Ben Mendelsohn. We're going to have an Iron Heart series, which is kind of an Iron Man spinoff with a young African-American girl that's essentially as smart as Tony Stark.
We saw this character already in Captain Marvel.
No, we didn't. That's different character.
Different character.
Are you sure? Because yes, I saw a
you were asking
video.
Me?
Whoa! Look at the elitism come out.
Woo!
Yeah, I'm not asking you in terms of comics, but I'm asking in terms of the MCU because I saw another source that quoted it was an aged version of that same character. If that's not true, then okay.
That character is in other properties. Monica Rambeau is going to be in WandaVision and also in Captain Marvel too.
Now, Monica Rambeau, as far as my history in comics, she should be Captain Marvel.
She's technically Monica Rambeau is the first woman to have the name Captain Marvel.
Yeah, and that's the one that I grew up with in comics.
Yeah, she was a big part of the adventure. She will be in WandaVision and also in Captain Marvel too.
Yeah.
Going back, there's going to be an animated I Am Groot show. There's going to be an Armor Wars Iron Man miniseries special show with Don Cheadle as War Machine coming back for that. And Guardians of the Galaxy gets a holiday special in 2022. Now on movies from Marvel, Black Widow is coming out in May. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings has wrapped its production. Captain Marvel 2 has a director now with Nia DaCosta, who is the director of the Candyman remake that I want to see.
Yeah, same.
Ant-Man and the Wasp sequel has a name, Quantumania. Thor, Love and Thunder has a villain cast with Gore the God Butcher played by Christian Bale. So,
which is kind of a great pick. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
him as a villain. There you go.
They have officially announced that on Black Panther 2, they will not replace Chadwick Boseman, who passed away earlier this year. So
I don't like what I'm hearing about that.
So why is it called Black Panther?
All we know is that he's not replaced. We do not know what the movie's about.
Yes, Black Panther is a moniker that can be passed.
And John Watt. Well, it could be somebody else is Black Panther, but the character is I don't know. We don't know enough.
Yeah.
There's going to be a new Fantastic Four movie. Thank God. It's directed by the guy who's directing the Spider-Man movies, John Watts. I'm less optimistic.
Yeah,
but,
same.
Hey, it's a thing. Let's move away from Marvel to Star Wars and Lucasfilms. All you Mandalorian fans out there, we've got 2 spin-offs. Ahsoka, who came out of Clone Wars first and now it showed up in The Mandalorian. Spoilers. Gets her own show. Rangers of the New Republic is also spinning out. Outside of that, we have a Rogue One prequel series called Andor, starring Diego Luna. The Obi-Wan Kenobi long-awaited show is set to have some more information. It's going to be 10 years after Episode 3, and supposedly Hayden Christensen is going to come back in some respect. The Clone Wars cartoon series is going to have a spin-off called The Bad Batch, which is about some kind of misformed, or at least not quite to spec, clone batches from the Clone Wars. There's eventually going to be a Lando Calrissian show. There's going to be 2 movies, one directed by Taika Waititi, which we don't really know anything about, and another one based on Rogue Squadron, the X-Wing Squadron, directed by Patty Jenkins, director of Wonder Woman.
Let me point out those movies are going to be theatrical.
Those are theatrical. Yes. Everything prior to the movie announcement I said is on Disney Plus. The movies are theatrical.
Yeah.
Also back to Disney Plus, there's a Willow sequel. Back to theatrical. We know the next and supposedly last Indiana Jones movie starts production in spring. And then Lucasfilm is doing a film adaptation of the book Children of Blood and Bone, which, if you're watching a video, Tina is showing that on her screen. Okay,
that's
more.
The one I was most excited about because this is a fantastic book.
Ooh, all right,
fantastic series. The world building is great.
There's a lot.
There's more. I'm not done. Walt Disney Studios, Jungle Cruise is coming out in July. Lion King is getting a prequel series. There's going to be a live-action Chippendales Rescue Ranger show starring John Mulaney and Andy Samberg, which sounds amazing. There's going to be a live-action Pinocchio with Tom Hanks as Geppetto. Enchanted is getting a sequel. Sister Act 3 is happening with Whoopi Goldberg and Tyler Perry. There's going to be a new Mighty Ducks, new Hocus Pocus 2. Now, Disney Animation, the next big animated film, Raya and the Last Dragon. We've had trailers for. We know is going to go to theaters and premiere access, similar to Mulan. There's going to be Disney Plus shows for Baymax from Big Hero 6, Zootopia Plus from Zootopia, Tiana from Princess and the Frog, and Moana from Moana, and a new series called Awaju. It's kind of a sci-fi show, and a new Disney animated film called Encanto set in Colombia. Also animated stuff. Pixar has 2 upcoming movies outside of the upcoming Soul, which will be this actually in about a week. Turning Red, about a girl who turns into a red panda when she's excited, comes out in March 2022. And later in 2022, we get Lightyear, the origin story of Buzz
Look at
Lightyear.
Tina. Look at Tina.
Starring Chris Evans, who is voicing the air quote real Buzz Lightyear that inspired the toy. Okay, let's move away from Disney proper stuff for a moment. Hulu announced a bunch of shows without getting too much into those. Handmaid's Tale, which we all love, is getting a 5th season. Over at FX, really cool idea that I want to see. The Old Man is a CIA show starring Jeff Bridges. Weird one, American Horror Story is getting a spin-off anthology series called American Horror Stories, plural. Supposedly, FX is still working on a Why the Last Man show.
Supposedly.
Yeah. And there's going to be an Alien series. Holly is going to be show running, working with Ridley Scott. And I'm tapping out for the rest of that list. Okay, goodbye.
And that's not even the whole list.
That's not.
No, that's not the whole list.
Like
I have never seen
that
even on a call
announcement in like one go. That is
never seen that.
Overwhelming.
You can look at the TCAs, the Critics Association events every year, and no one that I've ever seen has announced that many projects. And you know what that leads me to believe? That
half of them aren't going to happen.
Is not going to happen.
Yeah,
I feel like Disney is desperate for money. Now, call me, crazy, but I feel like Disney's desperate for money.
Oh no, they've lost billions.
I know, but they need attention. They need people to get invested in their stock. So they basically threw a show idea at everything that they had access to.
Please make this real, children of blood and bone.
That one probably will be real because they did go through the trouble of purchasing rights to the book.
The rights for it, yeah.
But a lot of this stuff, like the Ahsoka series, she was on, one episode of Mandalorian, and she was great, by the way, in that character. But all of a sudden she's getting a show. I feel like
I think they're also banking on the Clone Wars fan, because she's a main character in that one.
Yeah, but still, it just feels like there's so much of this outside of Marvel. Most of the Marvel things I think are going to happen because I think the majority of those things have been in the planning stages for a long time.
So here's my theory on Star Wars. I think Disney has seen that Mandalorian it was a hit. It helped drive their subscription numbers for when Disney Plus opened, and sees that. I think they see this as really the true future of the franchise is this kind of content on Disney Plus. Sure, they're putting out a couple of movies, but these shows don't take the financial commitment to produce or market that episodes 7, 8, or 9 did. And
right.
I think they're easier, and they still make the same, if not more, fodder for toys and merchandise, which is where Star Wars makes its bread and butter. So I think they see this as this is really the way we should probably be doing Star Wars, at least right now. At least we'll scattershot it, and if TV, this Disney Plus streaming model is better for Star Wars, we'll stick with that. But we'll try some movies just to
well, and I don't have any faith in the movies, to be honest with you, because we had this issue with the last 3 where someone's got a good idea. Taika Waititi's got a good idea, and Patty Jenkins has a good idea.
Ryan Johnson has a good idea. Let's make a whole trilogy of movies with Ryan Johnson.
This is a franchise where it needs to be plotted out. You can't just start throwing movies against the wall because the continuity goes crazy. the tone is all over the place, and people can't invest in it as a franchise.
I don't know if that's entirely true. I think you can scattershot. I think
in film.
Okay, all right. What of post Disney? So what has been what do you think is the best Star Wars movie?
Post Disney?
Post Disney?
Or current Disney? Current post prequels.
Rogue One.
Rogue One, exactly. And it's not that. It's not franchise building. It's just
a standalone story
off of a franchise. I wouldn't
I was going to say
it's
still based. Like the core of that
based,
movie is locked into the first Star Wars movie.
It's not that core saga planning that you're talking about, though. It's not like we have to have a plan for this movie, this movie, this movie, and this movie. It's like, no, let's take what worked in the originals and we'll just make a single movie that people like.
You got to admit that's a bright spot in an otherwise pretty dismal.
I wouldn't even say that movie is amazing. I'd say it's mixed.
But that's why that movie's the one that's also getting a prequel.
And that one is actually going to happen. We've seen footage of that one already. They built the sets.
Yeah,
it's happening.
Majority of what you're seeing is also series of stuff coming out, and like the animated stuff that wouldn't be hard to create. You have some films, but the films
that also wasn't all the Star Wars stuff either. There's more like animated and other stuff, but
a lot of what you have on the list is series. Like I could probably count on two hands theatrical films they have in the work.
The series I have more hope for than the films. It's my only issue is with the two films. If they haven't thought that out, I think in a good way, those are going to fail.
They did not learn their mistake from their previous trilogy.
They told us.
I think Rogue Squadron will happen because it's got a title.
And that's a theatrical.
TT1, I do not think will
now happen. The Rogue Squadron's theatrical.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then you have Children of Blood and Bone, which is going to film. Doesn't say it's going to be theatrical. It's just going to be like a movie on Disney Plus.
I believe that would be better as a series, probably.
Yeah. Well, it said it's labeled as a film in the release. But we'll see.
Yeah. And then
I don't remember what the actual wording.
But as Nico pointed out, they have to buy the rights for Children of Blood and Bone. Yeah. So why invest money if it's not going to happen?
Well, I mean, it's not that hasn't happened. I mean, we have seen it where books were bought, like the Foundation stories, Asimov stories that I've wanted to see movies of for years. Those have been sitting on shelves, and Apple TV is finally doing a series based on this book.
Yeah,
so I mean, it has happened.
Books have been bought, like some of my favorite books have been bought, and nothing's come of it yet. But some of them have been bought like leading up to COVID, so I don't know if that might have affected it. So
I'm sure it did.
All I gotta say is, even if I had no intentions of watching Loki, which it's me, I always had intentions of watching Loki.
For sure.
Now I am obligated to watch all of Loki because I found out one of my friends was part of the stand-in crew for it. So
nice.
Gotta support her.
They filmed a lot in Atlanta.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, yeah, that's the home of Marvel, basically. Yeah. To get into the Marvel stuff, you know, it was so funny because when I first saw everything, I was like, oh, cool. And then as I settled into it, I'm like, don't care about that. Don't really care about that. Don't give two fucks about that. A procedural with She-Hulk, don't care.
I totally care. That's going to be great.
I was about to say.
I don't care.
My She-Hulk.
There's so many.
I like She-Hulk. Don't get me wrong. I like her as a character in the comics. I liked She-Hulk when she was in the Fantastic Four. But
we'll get a Fantastic Four movie, so that might happen.
Yeah, but I don't like procedurals. A courtroom drama with the main character.
I'm kind of
curious. But if you're gonna do a courtroom drama with any Marvel character, it has to be She-Hulk.
I am kind of curious.
Well, it should be Matt Murdock.
No,
man. If they bring back Charlie Cox, if we get cameo appearances, I'm all in. I mean, I'm all in already. But if that happened, dear Lord, I really hope it's good because I really like She-Hulk, and I'm fine with the procedural. I can deal with that. I'm looking forward to the ones that we know the most in production currently. So WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier looks good. Loki,
I'm coming around to WandaVision. I actually am coming around to it.
Yeah, I think the new trailer may have helped.
Loki, the new trailer for WandaVision did help. The new trailer for Loki, actually, for me, hurt the show a little bit. I wasn't that excited anyway. I love the actor. I love Tom Hiddleston, but the new trailer to me makes it look more episodic and a little more familiar. Like we've kind of seen, the superhero type of character who has to go in and solve whatever crimes or whatever situation it is. It's like to me, it looks procedural. The new trailer looks too procedural for me. So like all of a sudden I'm like less interested in that too. I mean, really, when I start thinking about it,
the one that I'm most excited for is maybe Winter Soldier. Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I need to see more about that one, but yeah.
We haven't seen footage of Hawkeye, but we've seen a lot of
pictures,
set shots lately.
Especially with Lucky the pizza dog, which I'm always for.
I'm looking forward to that one because I like those characters, and I know it's basing a lot off of the Matt Fraction run, which is
amazing. You even see a hearing aid, which makes me so happy.
Yeah, that's really cool too. I am looking. I want more of the Don Cheadle Armor Wars storyline.
Armor Wars was a good comic book series. So.
Yeah, for anyone not familiar, basically it's an Iron Man storyline. You can find the trade easily. Just look up Armor Wars. The whole point of it is basically Tony Stark goes on a rampage trying to track down anyone who's using technology based off of his tech and the Iron Man tech. Because he's found out that somehow some of his technology is leaked out into the world. And he goes after bad guys, good guys, anyone who's using Stark tech to do whatever they do. And it's a fascinating spin if it's not as much Stark protecting his own brand and his own material. Now that it's Rhodey, now it's War Machine instead protecting the legacy. And that sounds fascinating.
That could be really cool, and I like him as an actor as well. I think I'm trying to be like fair about my feelings on it because I feel like we know. Oh, and we got some confirmation, by the way, from the latest info about WandaVision that the what's happening in the new Spider-Man movie is going to tie directly in, so that the other Spider-Men are just going to be basically cameos from other dimensions or whatever. So I'm excited about that main story, this sort of multiverse story that they're doing. But a lot of like what's happening with Hawkeye and the recasting of the daughter character in Ant-Man. They recast the actress, which has kind of been a controversy online a little bit.
The older actress that was in Endgame.
Yeah, they recast her with the blonde girl from that Freaky movie.
Oh, I didn't notice that. No,
yeah, they recast her, and a lot of people were upset because they felt that her scenes in Endgame were integral to the story and were really good, and I feel that way too. But they recast her, so the belief now is with what's happening in Hawkeye and what's happening there is that we're starting to lead into a Young Avengers story arc, which
that would be cool.
I don't give a fuck about that.
I love Young Avengers.
I'm fine with it.
I've never liked Young Avengers.
I mean, Young Avengers has one of my favorite Avenger-esque Avenger in title characters. So I mean, if I can get Wiccan, I'm good.
See, and that's why I'm trying to be honest with myself on my feelings, because an Avengers movie with a bunch of tweens and teens playing the characters, I am out. I am peace out. I don't care. And I feel like that might be where they're going. And from a cinematic perspective, it makes sense because they could start with younger actors and use them for like 9 movies and it's fine. It all makes sense to me. I just don't care. And I kind of knew that something like that was going to happen after we got the culmination of the first big story. Like in a lot of ways, I knew that was the end of the Marvel that I like. So, okay, that's fine. But yeah, like looking at everything that Disney has announced for Marvel, it's WandaVision is growing on me, and then Falcon and Winter Soldier. That's really about. We'll see about Hawkeye. We'll see.
Yeah, that's Disney Plus. We also have all the films that are still coming out, like Black Widow is still coming out. We have Shang-Chi, which I think will be neat. Thor is still going to be a franchise.
I can't believe we've seen nothing from Shang-Chi yet.
Yeah, I would have expected a trailer for now, but we know production's wrapped, so we should be getting that soon.
I haven't even seen that much as far as like to get a feeling for what it looks like. A Marvel martial arts movie could be awesome.
Yeah,
it could be good.
And then Fantastic Four, that's the thing.
Well, and then
so here's the thing. I'm concerned. And I don't want to belabor this too much because it's getting close to the end and we should wrap it up. But I want a good Fantastic Four movie. I've wanted a good Fantastic Four movie since the Tim Story Fantastic Four movies, since the atrocious last Fantastic Four movie. John Watts in the Spider-Man movies, and honestly, I'm not familiar as much with his filmography beyond that.
Yeah.
I think those movies do a good job showcasing familiar relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first one, you had Peter and his Aunt May, or Peter and Tony, or Peter and Happy, and you had a lot of that continuing in the second one, and also the Peter and the friendship relations. I think that aspect is a central core aspect of the Fantastic Four. They are a family, but they're also a epic spacefaring sci-fi adventure family.
Yeah.
And that aspect, I don't know if you could do, because those movies, Spider-Man, have been very grounded. I know there are complaints about it being almost a little too superheroic, with
by me,
particularly the first one bringing in a lot of Iron Man stuff. But that's the stuff I want for the Fantastic Four. I hope it's good. I really want it to be good. I have more faith in Marvel than I do in Fox, so we'll see.
I think we can all... Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think we can all say we're looking forward to Handmaid's Tale.
Oh, yes. For sure. On the Fantastic Four movie, though, I'm 100% with you. I've said for so many years that this was someone's opportunity to do a family dramedy, like drama and comedy and everything, except, make it with superheroes, and no one's done it. And I've gone on record about the Spider-Man movies that I've just thought they were okay.
Yeah.
I have not loved any of them.
I will say,
fine movies ever made.
They are better than the Fox Fantastic Four movies. So
yes.
Yeah,
hopefully, and knowing that
by that same token, they are way more forgettable than the Fox Fantastic Four movies.
Well, okay. I mean, that's an argument to be made. I mean, we could also look at the what's his name, the original Fantastic Four movie.
Oh, the Roger Corman.
That one's not forgettable. That's for sure.
That's my point. It's still you still remember it.
I think it would have worked better as a show instead of film, because you need time for the characters. But I'm looking forward to it. And
a show would be a great idea.
Yeah,
that would be great.
I will stop there because I can keep going on this list forever. It's a long list.
Does
Go
anybody
online and look up what came out from Disney last week?
Does anybody think though that we need this Buzz Lightyear thing from Pixar?
No, I think it's a cute idea.
It's a Disney mandated thing.
Desperately needed to know where Buzz Lightyear came from, because I feel like his origin story was really missing and was the linchpin on solving the plot holes and the mysteries in the Toy Story franchise.
I mean, he came from Mel's Toy Barn.
Now that toy did, but
that's where Buzz Lightyear came from.
You did it with a straight face.
I personally am excited to have an hour and a half minimum of listening to my future husband's voice.
And, well, I mean, to me, just that bothers me.
He'd have been talking the whole time.
There you go. That's
and if anyone can do that voice, Chris Evans can do that voice.
But see, that's what bothers me is it's kind of like when they change around in the Batman the Animated Series and bring in other people to be Batman. I mean, they're not Batman. They're not. I mean, I like Chris Evans as an actor too, but he's not Buzz Lightyear. He's not.
Yeah, he can be.
No.
I'm kind of okay with getting more Tim Allen.
So. But then when I read it about it though, and their approach is to do a more gritty Buzz Lightyear, I'm like, who needs a more gritty Buzz Lightyear story? Buzz Lightyear's supposed to be a toy.
Pixar. Come on.
But you're also seeing a Buzz Lightyear version that's not so.
So my understanding of it is this is.
Hang on, let Nathan get his
You see the
out.
Buzz Lightyear that's
struggling.
more like when Toy Story, the original Toy Story. You see how tough Buzz Lightyear is, and he comes out. You're seeing that as a consistent way through, like.
Well, but I mean, isn't this is supposed to be the character that the toy is based on?
Yes. Yeah, so that was what I took from it. So my understanding, and I could be way off on Mark, and feel free to correct me, is that this isn't based on Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, going and meeting aliens and whatnot. I thought this was like, no, this is like an actual Earth astronaut named Buzz Lightyear that we made a fiction around, in universe, made a fiction around, and then started selling toys about it.
That's what I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that too.
So it's not like, yeah. So that also helps it, I think, work a little bit better that he's not this exaggerated cartoon voice that Tim Allen does in the Toy Story franchise. But because the fact that he's basically supposed to be Buzz Aldrin, not
pretty much.
Not
but question though. Didn't we get a promise from Pixar after the last Toy Story that they weren't doing any more sequels?
Yep.
It's not a sequel then.
It's a sequel. It's a sequel.
It's not a sequel.
It is a Toy Story branded movie.
Technically, it would be a prequel because we had to do this stuff in order to get the toy made.
Yeah.
So we're getting this movie made by semantics.
Well, and it's also like on the list too. We're getting a Lion King prequel.
Please,
well, but that's not Pixar.
Me.
That's not Pixar. I think that's an unnecessary film too.
Yes,
but
it is. Okay.
And I'm not. That's one of the ones I'm not convinced is actually ever going to happen. I don't know.
Lion King prequel.
Yeah,
I disagree.
Oh no, that's
Lion
King.
Happen.
No, that's
gonna happen.
If they could do Lion King 1.5, they're going to do a Lion King.
Lion King made bank.
That's the one they should have made. It's like,
all right.
Lion King made bank. They're going to make more. I mean, that's the Disney formula. You made money, you make more. You make more money.
I don't know. What is everybody's? Let's wrap it up. What is everybody's overall feeling about all of this list?
There's a lot of stuff.
I'm ecstatic as hell because I love Disney Plus. I've subscribed to Disney Plus since the beginning.
Somebody is on the defense.
I watch all sorts of shit off the platform of the 54 number list, unlike some counterparts.
You heard it here first. He called it shit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Nathan.
So Nathan's on the far end, super excited. I'm excited for a lot of stuff out of here. There's a lot of stuff I don't care about, and more stuff that I didn't put on the list because I especially don't care about it.
Yeah.
But I think there are some gems here. We didn't even I mentioned it, but we didn't even really go into like Disney Animations making shows based on a lot of their more recent popular movies, which I think will be a good idea for bolstering Disney Plus. They're definitely going in. Okay, here. I don't want to belabor the point. I've already said that twice. Too much here. I think Disney ultimately is handling how it's going about its streaming service in a better way than HBO is. As we mentioned earlier, HBO Max has been more so pilfering content as opposed to really drilling into making stuff originally specific for HBO Max. Whereas Disney, and part of this is also they've been out longer. They could decide now we're going to double down into this, but they also don't have a place to cannibalize from that they have to worry about, like HBO Max versus HBO. They're going in all in. We're making original content. We are betting the farm on Disney Plus, but we are also still making movies and stuff like that. So I think there's a lot of stuff. It's a very shotgun approach. I agree. Not everything is ultimately going to make it past season one. But I think there's a lot of good stuff, and I'm looking forward to the stuff I want to see.
Tina, what is your thought?
I am in the middle of, there's a lot of stuff that I want to see, like the Children of Blood and Bone and the Ranma 1/2. I'm sorry, Turning Red. But again, there's also stuff that it's like, okay, I'm ready for it to come out. Like the Marvel shows, okay, I want to see it so that I know if I'm gonna like it, and then other stuff I don't care about. But it's, for me and Nico, our taste, it's worth the $1 increase to at least try and see what's out.
Zach?
To me, this is all dependent upon the quality of this first round of shows we're about to get. You can announce 50 shows, but if you blow your load on, we're going to do all this stuff, and then the quality isn't there, I could give a damn what other stuff you have in reserve. If it's not any good, I'm not going to care. And honestly, at this point, it's too early to care, because a lot of this property, like you say, is probably going to get changed up or canceled, or maybe it'll come out in a year and a half, but it's too early.
That's the other thing that
honestly
people
care
have to
less.
stay clear about is this is over not like next year. This is over a period of many years.
Yeah,
Where
it's
we
not
can-
going to
Well,
be
and for
in
people
the
who
next couple
don't
months.
aren't happy with the Mandalorian but still continue to watch it, shocking.
You know what? At this point, I might as well finish season 2 and determine if I'm going to continue to
See,
season 3.
that's a whole other section because I'm the guy who's still watching Walking Dead. So you can't come at me with that because once I'm committed to something, I just end up fucking staying with it, even if
That and you're watching it through my Disney Plus, so
I'm not on your Disney Plus.
you're logged in.
Speaking of Mandalorian,
Well, shit, I didn't even know. I thought I was paying for it. I get charged so much. My feeling on this is somewhere between, in the middle, kind of like Tina, somewhere between Nathan and Zach. Is there's of the things being produced that I legitimately believe are going to happen. There's a couple of Marvel shows, WandaVision and Falcon. The movies, I'm not hearing anything I'm like really excited for yet, but there's stuff still coming. Black Widow, The Eternals, I'm really interested in.
But you're thinking about it now that I phrased it as Rama 1/2.
I am thinking about it now that you said that. So yeah, there's a smattering of things that are okay. It's just like it's an emotional roller coaster ride because when you first see like they're throwing all this nerd content out there, it's like holy shit, this is exciting. And then I start reading into it, and it's like, okay.
I mean,
most of it's not exciting.
I mean, I got excited when they're like, "We're making Rogue Squadron." I'm like, "Awesome!" It takes place after the sequel trilogy. Oh. Well, who are they going to fight? Remnants of the First Order?
But when you lay it back into the $1 cost upgrade, I still question the trend line that it could be creating. But if the things that I am excited for, be it the small list that it is, are good, it'll be worth the uptick in cost.
We pay more for Netflix and they keep increasing and they quit their shows after 2 seasons.
I don't pay for Netflix. Other people who are idiots pay for Netflix.
I would have already dropped Netflix if it wasn't for my parents. They use my Netflix account and they like stuff, so I leave it for them because I other than the Great Baking Show, I'm not watching anything on Netflix.
I do want to bring up a point. I don't want to. I want to wrap up, so I don't want to like belabor this. God damn it! That's my word of the night. I don't want to drill down into it. The whole comparison tonight has been Disney HBO, some Hulu. I think this is the first time we mentioned Netflix.
Yeah.
Netflix is like, we have 15 shows.
I don't want to go too much. I think that's just something interesting to think about.
It is. And my only quick note on that is Disney and HBO are the ones that have potential and are doing here and there quality content, whereas Netflix is not doing much that I find to be quality. And that's why I don't bring them up. I think Hulu has better shows than Netflix.
See, I don't watch Hulu at all. I watch Netflix. So,
I mean,
well, it's a good thing. There's something for everyone.
That's true.
Nathan prefers the Hulu hangout than Netflix and chilling.
So really quickly, we just want to mention that how many episodes of Mandalorian are left? Does anybody know?
1, I think. Next week is the finale.
Is next week. Okay, so if you guys don't care about spoilers, I texted Zach and I'm mad at him because it took him so many days to watch it.
Because I wanted to watch it with KJ. KJ wanted to watch it with me. So you texted me, I think on Sunday or Saturday. You're like, "Have you seen Mandalorian?" I'm like, "No, I haven't yet." You're like, "You were mad."
Yeah,
you were really mad.
Yeah, because there's one minor thing that annoyed the shit out of me, and one major thing in this episode that annoyed the shit out of me.
Lord!
You're watching
for listeners, spoilers.
Well, yeah, and it's
spoilers for the newest episode.
Tell me it's not about the Mando taking off his mask.
That's the major thing. But before we get to that, the small thing, you're invested in the one thing that the Mandalorian has consistently done well is sort of the art direction. You're invested in that world because they build physical props and great costumes and music and everything. And I'm sitting there watching it, and then one person says to another, "Have you finished your TPS reports?" I stood up in the media room and I said, "Fuck you, you fucking asshole." Shit, with your TPS reports bullshit. That, Nathan, you don't even know it, but that's a reference to Office Space.
It's an Office. Are we going to start referencing Harry Potter?
We're going to start looking at the screen and referencing other shows for you to make you have a laugh.
I let an audible. What the fuck was that?
That is like, okay, so I could see it if like Parks and Rec did an Office kind of thing.
Yeah, because it
this
would
is
be
an
totally
entirely
consistent.
different
This is
world.
totally inconsistent.
It's like the thing that Mandalorian does best is invest you at least in the world that it has created.
If you're taking me out of that experience, you've screwed yourself.
It took me out. I was like, oh, you're cute, you're clever, you're referencing Office Space.
It was like one thing and then another, like immediately after.
Oh, it made me so mad.
I don't know any of that shit. So.
Yeah, but most people do. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
like if you look at the binge mode, which is a great Facebook group where people talk about these shows, everybody was talking about it. Because Office Space, if you haven't seen it, is a really good movie.
You say everyone who is familiar with Office Space, whatever.
Okay, well, I've been keeping
the
away from the public
which is basically
on
you all
due to spoilers.
Okay, so look at that.
No, I have people at work who talk about Office Space constantly.
TPS reports has kind of become a part of the zeitgeist.
Than just this group.
If you work in a cubicle,
but you're in a group of people that's all they know. So okay,
but if you work in an office nowadays,
that's like saying, well, Nathan, you're on a podcast,
but you're on a group. That of course that's going to be the topic of conversation on a group that people that all know the same thing.
Well, nobody's going to watch Flight Attendant because nobody really is a flight attendant.
I'm not making the argument. I'm not the one making the argument. I'm like, if you go into Facebook right now and say what bothered you about it, how many people are going to know?
Okay, so I would wager you this. The hardcore Star Wars crowd that pushes Mandalorian forward also know Office Space. They do.
Yes.
Yeah.
They do. It's a nerd crowd, and they know it.
Yes. It is a Mike Judge nerd crowd.
If it wasn't a joke that people would get, they wouldn't have made it to begin with. It was a nod at the audience. Hey, we know Office Space.
Hey, we're doing this. It was like, holy shit. It's like you're watching Game of Thrones and they seriously reference Harry Potter in it. You'd be like,
they leave a
what the fuck?
And they leave a cup, yeah.
And the majority of people that are watching Mandalorian right now aren't just Star Wars fans. They Baby Yoda fans.
I'd take that bet.
I will take that bet any day of the week and twice on Sunday.
Yeah,
right, so get on to the next point. We got an hour and 34.
Okay, so the next big thing is one of the key rules. You establish a rule in your show so people can invest. Is the Mandalorian doesn't take off his helmet. He doesn't take it off. That is his religion.
Yeah, this is the way.
So he took his helmet off in this episode.
Willy-nilly. Felt like there wasn't a lot of thought. He was just like, okay, I'll go do the thing.
Okay, I'm gonna go do it. Yeah. So we all knew at some point he was gonna have to take his helmet off.
Oh yeah.
That was gonna be a big, meaningful moment, is when he took his helmet off. So he was in a situation.
Like a
right. So he had to take his helmet off because he
had to.
They had to use a facial scanner to scan this thing, right? So in order to be covert and scan the
why didn't Bill Burr just put on a helmet?
Yeah, Bill Burr, the other character, could have also done it with a helmet on and not been seen. But outside of that, he does it to be covert so that they don't have to get into a big fight and kill all these people in this room, right? So he takes his helmet off, he scans it. 2 seconds later, they get in a big fight and fucking kill everybody anyway. It had no weight or importance in the episode. And it should have. This should have been like opening the briefcase in fucking Pulp Fiction.
Yes.
It's that important. And it's a throwaway moment that ends up meaning nothing in the story. I was like
literally, Bill Burr just turns to him and goes, I didn't see that. Anyway, moving on to the episode.
It's
fucking kill him.
Like, oh, this happened and it's, part of Mandalorian lore. You don't take off your helmet. But the fact that they made it a point to mention this many times in season 1, I don't know about season 2. We haven't watched
season 2 as well. Yeah,
they've mentioned it.
That's irresponsible storytelling.
It's not in the context in which it was told. And
okay, let me tell you
why. Hang on, Zach. Let Nathan have his comment there.
Damn it.
Go
I can go why it was powerful in that moment, because he's already breaking his Mandalorian code of get the job done because he formed an attachment to Grogu. Okay.
Oh no, that wasn't Mandalorian. That was the assassin thing.
No, but he
Baby Yoda.
He went through.
Okay.
Yeah, Baby Yoda has a name. Spoiler.
Grogu.
But he has already been evolving, and they hint at the Mandalorian code being adapted in different groups of Mandalorians throughout.
Yeah, there's the religious Mandalorians and the non-religious ones.
And they
He's a
show
religious
the
one.
difference and stuff. But when he goes into this thing to get his facial print to get the information they need on that stick before they get caught by that general, he knows what he's about to do. Hello, Danny DeVito. He knows what he is about to do, and what they could have done. And I will agree with this. They could have done is they could have had him take off his helmet and not show his face and get the scan. They could have done that.
Yeah.
But it already is showing the pattern of he is choosing his feelings over this code. He's going to do what it takes to get back Grogu.
You need to really establish that better in the scene then.
If you know, and we've had this discussion before on other
was established
things.
in the episode before and this episode.
If you have to explain it, then it wasn't done well. That's my thing.
I shouldn't have to explain it. I'm explaining it. The only reason I'm explaining it is because that's how I watched it. That's how I viewed it.
You are not.
Well, it's okay for him to justify it because he thinks it was a good move. I think it was a disastrous
I think it was a dumbass move because all Bill Burr had to do was put that helmet back on.
Yeah,
walk over
he had a helmet that covers up the side of his head.
Why was Bill Burr not wearing a helmet when he's like, I have to get a face scan? Someone might recognize me. Well, then take it off for 5 seconds for the scan.
And then literally right after, they all fucking see him anyway.
But he also didn't want to get a face scan because he was supposed to be locked up. What would he be doing there if he was locked?
The problem was there was this asshole guy that might recognize him.
Yes.
Which they didn't.
Yeah.
That's why he was like, I can't do it. It wasn't because I'm supposed to be dead. It was because he might recognize me. Well, then wear a fucking helmet. I'm not saying he's
supposed to be dead. I'm saying he's supposed to be locked up. And then the guy that destroyed the planet, that general that he ends up shooting. All right, they're ready to put that in.
I felt it was like 5 different ways we could have done this, and then you just go and do this.
My thing is I get what you're saying, and I don't disagree with you. That he is
the show.
That he is was growing toward showing his face, but it was done in such a non-important way.
It was done flippantly.
Okay. If he was going to do it, he should have taken it off right before, while he was on the ship saving Grogu. Make it have more weight.
I felt the weight of it when he did it because I was actually shocked that he did it.
Didn't.
So what I'm gathering is different people had different experiences watching this episode.
Yes.
Well, we should
think
about it over the next week.
Didn't
so
have
let's
any
stop.
issues with it. What?
Okay, let's stop.
We're
an hour and a half, guys. We need to wrap it.
You two do need to actually watch it and catch up. It has the Ahsoka.
Less and less wanting to now.
I know.
They haven't really sold us on
I don't blame you. I was only going to give it 3 episodes this season, and I think the only reason I finished so far is because it's so short. It's
There's
like I feel like
nothing else out, man. I'm just whatever.
That's part of
it.
Is I'm not committing to anything else.
So with nothing else out, what's coming out on physical media?
Well, there's some shit coming out. Let me just bring it back up and I'll tab. See, you threw me off with your segue, even though it was a good segue. I wasn't ready. So I'm scrolling to it. So the big thing that's coming out this week is Tenet. It came out in a regular Blu-ray, a 4K, and Best Buy. If you can find it, I'm hearing that it's already this script. Oh my God, it's so long. I'm hearing that it is already sold out.
I wasn't a fan of any of those packagings, by the way.
I didn't like
any of them.
They're just riffs on the poster. I mean, the DVD version is actually the poster, straight up.
It just felt like really bland.
I agree.
Even the Steelbook, I looked at it and I went, God, that's the best y'all could do?
It doesn't matter. I'm still going to get it. I hear it's a pretty beautiful 4K presentation. The Expanse Season 4 is out on Blu-ray. Spirited Away is out in new Steelbook. Ip Man, the complete collection on 4K. Castle in the Sky is out in a Steelbook. Blue Underground just put out a movie called Vigilante. I mean, Blue Underground's putting out Grindhouse movies in 4K now, and Criterion still can't give us 4Ks. And the Tremors 4K is out. That one, is that Arrow Video? I think that one's Arrow Video.
Arrow. Yeah, that's Arrow.
So, and this is just a short list. There's a lot more. This is actually a pretty good week for physical media. You can go in. We'll have a link to the rest of it over on Blu-ray.com. There's a lot. What do we got in funny books?
Marvel has 2 books out this week. Black Cat #1, which is a tie-in into the King of Black miniseries that's going on right now. And also New Mutants #14, which has a new creative team on it. Over at DC, Dark Knight's Death Metal continues going forward with #6. That miniseries is almost wrapping up. And then if you're a fan of the series The Expanse, there is a comic book miniseries out from Boom Studios going over that.
Nice. So you will be able to see later tonight or early tomorrow the Nico's write-up on the funny books.
Yep.
All right, let's bring this baby to an end. I think everybody is worn out.
I got more Mandalorian talk post show.
No, let's go.
No,
Shut up, Zach.
Post show. I got one more
right.
thing.
All right, we'll talk for a minute post show.
Thing.
But join us. Don't forget, if you are listening to us on audio, you can join us every week on YouTube at around 7:15 on just look up
Central.
Culture Smash on Central Time on the YouTube. And if you're watching the YouTube version, you can get the audio version of this through whatever you want to use podcast wise. Nico, where do we find you on the internet?
You can find me on finer social networks such as Twitter and Instagram under Nico Scream, NIKOSCREAM.
Tina?
You can find me Instagram and most gaming sites under Cheddar Popper. That is CHEDRPOPPR, especially for those book suggestions. And also check out the puppy at the.shadow.pupper on Instagram.
Nice. Zach?
You can find me on Instagram, I'm Master of the Rankrix 91. You can also find me on Steam and Discord as a dangerous mute lunatic. A friend of mine let me borrow his Oculus, and Half-Life Alex lives up to the hype. 13 years.
Zach hasn't had his pants on since.
Oh, no, I wear my pants and shoes so I can feel everything. But, oh my God, that game is amazing.
I don't want to know that you want to feel everything. Nathan?
You can find me on Instagram, Nate_R_70. You can find me on Dead by Daylight on any platform under Nate70471.
All right. Find me on CultureSmash on the Facebook, Off the Shelf Movie Night on YouTube, and like Nathan, playing some DBD. Just look up CultureSmash and you will find us out there. You probably hear me yelling and cussing because that's usually what happens.